Well, welcome everyone. Welcome back to our podcast. This is the Rapid Fire series. I have a new face with us today, Gearoid. Gearoid, would you like to introduce yourself?
Hey everyone, my name is Gearoid O Fearghail. I'm a senior product manager at Vectra.
Awesome. And today we're going to talk about Kingpin, which is a very unique feature on the Vectra AI platform and has a very unique name too. So maybe we can dive into that as well.
Yeah,
All right.
absolutely.
So reminder, rapid fire series, 3 questions, 3 minutes. We're going to keep this short and sweet. So start the clock. What is Kingpin?
Perfect. So Kingpin is all about telling you exactly who performed activity in your AWS environment without you having to go and figure it out yourself. Everyone has said that anytime they get an alert in their existing tool or they find suspicious activity, that it takes them around an hour, in some cases 2 or 3 hours, just to be like, okay, I've seen activity for this role. I need to pull this up and say, well, who assumed that role? Where have they been performing that action? What exactly is happening? And the outcome is just that they spend all this time saying like, okay, well, I've seen this suspicious activity. Now, who actually is it? Vectra does all the work for you. In Vectra, we just say, hey, we're going to take all that activity and we're just going to tell you exactly who it is.
Yeah,
Cool.
absolutely. It's really cool. Yeah.
You're probably wondering why we call it Kingpin. Oh,
yeah.
Go ahead.
Why is it called Kingpin?
It's called Kingpin because it's similar to what we do in Detect for Network with host ID. But the problem is that we've always found host ID is a pretty boring name. So Kingpin, we decided to go for because it kind of shows what it's about. We find the Kingpin, we find the threat actor, and we just get everything back up to the Kingpin behind all this dispersed activity.
We pin it on the king.
Exactly.
That makes a lot of sense. Okay, so what does Kingpin actually do here? And there's a little diagram here that we can go through.
Yeah, of course. So if you imagine in AWS, their model for managing access is that they tell you to basically not to grant access to users directly, but to grant access through roles. This is really, really good in that you can basically say that, oh, this role is of a DevOps engineer, this role is of somebody in, say, the administration, or this somebody is somebody in finance. That role has specific permissions, and if a new person joins the company, you don't have to grant them access directly. You grant access for them to assume roles. They can put on the hat of finance, or they can put on the hat of their engineer. And with that, they can then perform the activities. It means that you can scale out what's happening. If you want to say grant everyone in finance new permissions, you just go in, you update the role. It's really much easier to do than to go in and grant every single person in the finance team access to something. However, it also means that all of the activity you see isn't being performed by a user, it's being performed by a role. And you can go in and actually, from a role, assume a different role. So the thing is, it's all just a little bit confusing.
Yeah.
Vectra stitches that all back up, tracks every single role assumption made in an environment, and then just pulls it all back up to say, this is the user who did exactly this.
Yeah. And this kind of shows it's on the diagram too. So like the bad actor here is gonna assume the hard hat role, and then the chef role, and then another hard hat role back to the beanie, and then to the graduation cap, and then end up at the target. So those are that's what, like 4 roles.
Exactly. And if you're looking at the logs for this, you're like, okay, well, this ID or this access key was used. Okay, well, who has this access key? Oh, wait, the beanie hat has the access. Okay, well, who took the beanie hat access key?
Yeah.
Oh, hard hat. And so you're going back 15 minutes each time, going through the logs, figuring out the query. It is such a pain.
Yeah. And that kind of goes into what does it actually mean for security teams too? Like, how are security teams benefiting from this?
Absolutely. You save huge amounts of time by using Kingpin. Every single investigation, you're saving up to 60 minutes. It means that you have complete visibility into everything the attacker's doing. Like, it's not just that you see, oh, this detection was performed by this person. You can click in and using our investigation features, see every activity performed by this actor across any role that they assumed. It also means you can respond really quickly. So if you are saying, oh, this is bad, you can do a lockdown, and by locking out the exact user, there's no blast radius, as in to say no one else is going to be locked out.
Yeah.
But also it's comprehensive, because if you just lock out the role, then the user still has access. They just access a different role this time instead,
Right.
and they can still get to the bad actor. They can still get to the target.
Yeah. So
Like
this is super, super important here, especially when time is of the essence and we want to increase efficiency for SOC teams too. So this is awesome. Okay.
It's a great feature.
All right, stop the clock. We're a little bit over, but that's okay. All right, so I think that's it for our Kingpin Rapid Fire podcast. If you guys haven't checked us out yet on YouTube, we have a playlist, and we're also on Spotify now too. I think it's only our threat briefing so far, but please subscribe. And Harold, thank you so much for joining us on our Kingpin Rapid Fire podcast, and we'll see you next time. Thanks, everyone.